There are so many great community platforms out there. That's why choosing one that's right for you can be so difficult. In this episode, I'm going to break down for you exactly what you need to be asking yourself to make sure that you choose the community platform that's right for you. There are so many platforms that you can choose from that I understand why it is so overwhelming for people. But I'm going to help you break down exactly how you can decide which platform is best for you. And it all starts with this number one question. Why does this community exist? What is its purpose? What is the purpose of this particular community platform? So, when we think about communities, every community should have a purpose. That's the cause that we talk about inside of that community cultivated framework, right? So once you understand that purpose, then you can ask yourself the question of what platforms you need to fulfill on that purpose. Now, I say this all the time. Your community is not your Facebook group or your circle discussion forums or your mighty networks, whatever, or your school group. It is none of those things. Your community is the ecosystem of the people that are interacting with you and with each other and have a common identity and all of these other sorts of things that happen that create a community. So here's the big secret. The platform is just a tool that helps facilitate community, whether that platform be Zoom, whether that be an in-person conference, or whether it be something like a Facebook group or a circle community or whatever platform that you end up choosing for your community platform. But we have to understand what the purpose is of this platform that we are choosing. What are you going to be doing in there? For some people, you're actually going to be doing training and teaching, so you need to be able to go live to interact. For other people, you're going to be hosting content in there, so you want to make sure that you're not using a separate content platform. You want your content to actually be inside of your community platform. For others, it's just a place for engagement around one common topic. For some of you, you have layers or tiers to your community, so you need to essentially have different spaces within a community in order for people to interact at different levels or around different topics or because they're in different paid programs. So getting really clear on how you want to use this community platform and what its purpose is the first step. Not looking at all the features or asking everybody else what they're using. You have to get really clear on how you are going to use this platform to meet the needs of your community members and ultimately your business goals. So first step, after you have that main community strategy, you want to get really clear on the purpose of this community space before you start trying to choose or change your platform. And remember, there is no one size fits all solution. You have to choose the platform that aligns with your unique needs. Remember this, as we go through this process, I want to tell you something that is going to help you make a decision faster. There is never going to be a perfect platform. You will always have to compromise in one area or another. You can spend all day long looking for the perfect platform that meets every single one of your needs and future needs. You're not going to find it. So it's really important that we prioritize. Okay, so you're really clear on your purpose now, and you're ready to start assessing and evaluating which platform is right for you. Where do you start? The first thing is a needs assessment. If you're in my Cultivate Community Training Program, you actually have a detailed needs assessment, a detailed platform evaluation strategy, which we're going to talk about in just a second, and a whole lesson on this. So dive back into that course so that you can get more details on this. But for the rest of you, a needs assessment is something that allows you to get clear on what you need for your space based on that purpose that you have defined. Now, you don't want to just look at your current needs. Yes, that is so important. But if you have a community of 50 and you're trying to grow it to 5,000, then those needs are going to be really different. And you want to set yourself up to be able to use the same community platform or space in the future and not have to change as you scale. So you got to look at your current needs, but you also want to consider your future community as well. And when it comes to size and scale of that community, when it comes to features that you want to add that maybe you haven't added yet. Okay, so keep that in mind. Obviously, your current needs take priority because if it can't meet your current needs, it's probably not going to meet your future needs. But those future needs can really be the deciding factor if you have two community spaces that feel like comparing apples to apples. then you can start looking at those future needs to see which one is growing in the direction that you want to grow. So the questions you're going to look at are like, how big is your community right now? How big do you want it to be 5 years from now? Where does your community spend their time? How tech savvy are they? What kind of conversations are happening in the community? Is there any information that's sensitive that's being shared? Is there any information that certain platforms wouldn't be okay with talking about? We all know that Facebook has certain topics that aren't going to be favored on Facebook. So those would need to be on a separate platform. So look at all of those sorts of questions around the community engagement and size and scale, but also questions around content. Again, do I need to be able to go live? Am I going to be hosting trainings in there or putting content in there? Do I need to be able to put PDFs or audio files in there? You're basically listing out all of the ways that you want to use this community platform now and how you want to use it in the future, looking at all of the different features and things that you might need. So when you make this list of features, what you actually want to do is make this big list of features that you need based on your current and then your future needs in the community. And then you want to label them as must have or nice to have. This is so important because remember, we said there is no perfect community platform, but the must haves are where it starts. And the really cool thing is that when we get to platform evaluation, if you've done a really good job of looking at your current needs and features and your future needs and features and labeling them as must-haves and nice-haves, you're going to find that platform evaluation goes a whole lot quicker. And then there's a couple other really operational questions that I like to ask as well when I'm doing this needs assessment, which includes your budget for a platform, because this will determine whether you're doing like a custom app build or using something for free or something in the middle, and if there's anything else that you need to integrate it with. Now, most people's frustration with Facebook is that you have to manually approve and manually remove people from the community. This can be the same on other platforms as well if you don't have proper integration. So if you look at your subscription service that you use, whether you use Zapier or whether you use Make.com or whatever you're using for your CRM or email service provider, some platforms are going to integrate really well with those and other platforms aren't. So if you list out the different tools that you would want this platform to integrate with, that can also be really important. All right. So you've got your big needs assessment. You have gone through all of your needs. You know your current needs, your future needs. You know your must-haves and your nice-to-haves. All of that's detailed out, as well as understanding your budget and what different tools you needed to integrate with. What's next? Well, now that you know what's important to you, you can start looking and evaluating the different platform options. So you're going to start with things that are non-negotiable features, right? Like maybe budget is non-negotiable. So you immediately can rule out like custom builds on WordPress or custom app builds. Maybe there are other features like it really has to integrate with this because that's my content platform or that's my CRM. Then that's going to eliminate a whole lot of them because you're just going to be looking at the things that integrate with that particular CRM. So start with those non-negotiables first and then move on to your must-haves. That's the easiest way to rule out the majority of platforms. I know it's so much fun to look at all of the shiny features these different platforms have. I know because so many of you do it. It's so fun to go into Facebook groups, say, what platform do you use for your membership? And get all of these ideas and have everybody tell you how awesome it is, which, by the way, they're probably going to say it's awesome or they would have switched to something else by now, right? But that's not how we evaluate platforms. We always want to start with non-negotiables, then move to must-haves, and that is going to help eliminate the majority of platforms on the market right now. So then once you have that small little group that's left after you've looked at your must-haves and your non-negotiables, then you're going to move on to those more detailed questions to really help narrow down your selection. So here's the kind of things you're looking at, right? Are there options within my budget? Are there any must-have features that this platform doesn't have? Is this mobile friendly? Maybe that's a big feature for you. If my topic is controversial, is it allowed on this platform? Does this platform exist to serve the kind of community and facilitate the kinds of conversations that I want to create? How established is this company? Y'all, I will tell you, This question right here is probably the most important question you can ask. How established is this company? I always want to know who the founders are. I want to know what kind of financial backing they have, how long they've been around. Do the founders have experience in SaaS and tech platforms? There are lots of people who are popping up community platforms. The majority of them are not going to survive. That is just the nature of it. So you don't want to build your community on a sinking ship or shifting sand or what other metaphor you want to put in. You need a platform that you know is going to withstand the test of time, at least to the best of your ability. You can see that as an established company because we really need to know, will this platform be here 5 years from now? And not only will it be here, but where is it headed? Who is this company trying to serve? Because not all community platforms are trying to serve course creators and membership owners. Some of them are trying to serve corporate communities or internal communities. And so, really knowing who their core audience is and who they're trying to serve is important because the decisions they make about future features and updates are going to be driven towards that particular audience, which may or may not be yours. So this is why I always like having, interviews or questions with founders when I can, or just really inquiring of the business customer support, like, hey, who's your primary audience? Who is this for? What is your roadmap look like for development? So that I can see, is this a platform that's headed in the same direction that my business is and that's going to serve me long term? So you're looking at all of those features, you're looking at how flexible the platform is so that you can tell, like, can I adapt it as my needs change? What skills and resources would be required from a team perspective in order for us to manage this platform? So you're asking all of these sorts of questions, and then ultimately you may have to get really detailed and evaluate the platform on a scale of 0 to 3 for your requested features. So 0 being this feature does not exist for this platform, 1, terrible, 2, okay, 3, great, it's amazing. So if you get down to 2 to 3 platforms, and you've got your feature list, then that's what you want to start doing. 0, this does not exist. 1, this is terrible experience. It's there, but it's awful. 2, it's okay. 3, it's really amazing. And once you do that, you're going to put yourself in a position where you can make a decision on your platform. I know that this is not as fun as asking your girlfriend or your Facebook group what platform they're using and just diving in and getting started. But I talked to so many community creators that regret choosing the platform they did because they didn't do enough research in the beginning to make sure that this was the best platform for their business. I have clients and friends that love Money Networks. I have clients and friends that love Circle and Kajabi community and Facebook and yes, school. Everybody can be happy on a platform, but they can't be happy on any platform. You have to decide what is the right platform for you based on those current and future needs.